The sentence was whispered, not shouted, but it landed like a slap. That dress isn't leaving this house. And neither are you. The single dad froze in the hallway, grocery bag slipping from his hand. Milk spilled across the floor, spreading like the truth he was about to uncover. The voice belonged to his boss. The woman being spoken to was someone he loved. And the next choice he made would change all of their lives forever. Ethan Cole never planned to be early that evening. His life as a single father revolved around routines: school pickup at 5, dinner by 6, bedtime stories by 8. Predictability was his armor against grief. But that night, his daughter Lily had a fever, and the daycare called him in a panic. His boss, Victor Hale, had insisted Ethan take the rest of the day off and even offered to have groceries delivered to Ethan's small rental house. Ethan refused politely. Pride was all he had left after losing his wife 3 years ago. Instead, he stopped by Victor's mansion to return some signed documents he'd forgotten in the morning. Victor had told him to just drop them inside, doors always open, he'd said with a smile that now felt hollow. The house was too quiet for a place that big. No music. No staff. Just silence and shadows. Ethan stepped inside, calling out softly, not wanting to intrude. That was when he heard the voices upstairs. Victor's voice was calm, controlled, the same tone he used in board meetings when someone was about to be ruined. That dress isn't leaving this house. A pause. And neither are you. Ethan stopped breathing. A woman spoke next. Her voice trembled but didn't break. Victor, please. I just wanted to go to the interview. Just one interview. Interview? Ethan's heart began to race. He moved closer to the staircase, every instinct screaming that he should leave, but his feet refused to obey. You belong here, Victor replied. I've invested too much in you to let you walk out dressed like that, pretending you have a life outside this house. The woman sobbed quietly. Ethan recognized the voice now. It was Clara Reyes, the kind, soft-spoken woman who volunteered at Lily's school library. The woman who sometimes brought extra soup when Lily was sick. The woman Ethan had slowly, painfully begun to trust his heart with. Ethan's mind fractured. Clara lived here? With Victor? A sound escaped him, a sharp inhale. The voices stopped, footsteps approached the top of the stairs. Panic surged through Ethan. He backed away, heart hammering, grabbing the documents from his bag and placing them on the entry table with shaking hands. He slipped out the door just as Victor appeared at the landing, eyes narrowing. Victor had seen him. Ethan was sure of it. That night, Ethan didn't sleep. Lily's fever broke, but his own thoughts burned hotter. Clara's smiles replayed in his mind, now shadowed by fear. He wondered how long she'd been trapped, and worse, why she never told anyone. The next day at work, Victor acted normal. Too normal. He praised Ethan in meetings, laughed at his jokes, and then, just before lunch, leaned close and whispered, I trust you didn't misunderstand anything you might have heard yesterday. It wasn't a question. It was a warning. Ethan nodded, but inside, something ancient and powerful woke up. The part of him that had once promised his dying wife he'd always do the right thing, even when it cost him everything. Clara showed up at the school 3 days later, wearing the same dress. Pale blue. Simple. Brave. Ethan noticed her hands shaking as she returned books to the shelf. When their eyes met, she looked away, ashamed, afraid. He waited until the hallway was empty. Clara, he said softly. I heard him. Her face drained of color. For a moment, Ethan thought she might run. Instead, she whispered, I didn't want you to know. I didn't want anyone to know. They sat on the cold floor between shelves, and Clara finally told him everything. How Victor had offered her a job years ago when she was desperate. How the job became control. How the house became a cage. How every attempt to leave was met with threats, legal, financial, emotional. He says I owe him, she said, tears falling freely now. He says without him, I'm nothing. Ethan thought of Lily. Of the promises he made. Of the words he overheard that night. No, Ethan said firmly. You don't owe him your life. The plan was risky. Victor was powerful. But power only worked in silence. Ethan gathered evidence, recordings, messages, financial records Clara secretly kept. He contacted a lawyer, then a journalist. Each step terrified him. Victor noticed the distance, the resistance, the change. The confrontation came fast. Victor summoned Ethan to his office late one evening. The smile was gone. You think you're a hero? Victor sneered. You think anyone will believe a single dad over me? Ethan stood straighter than he ever had. They don't have to believe me. They just have to hear you. The fallout was explosive. Headlines. Investigations. Victor's empire collapsed under the weight of his own arrogance. Clara testified. Others came forward. The house that once felt like a prison became evidence. On the day Victor was taken away, Clara stood outside the courthouse in that same blue dress. This time, no one told her to go back inside. Ethan stood beside her, Lily holding his hand. Months later, life was quieter. Harder in some ways. But honest. Clara found a job she loved. Ethan found peace he thought he'd lost forever. And Lily learned, by watching the adults in her life, that courage wasn't loud, it was persistent. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sun set, Lily looked up and asked, Daddy, why do you always tell the truth even when it's scary? Ethan smiled, eyes soft. Because some dresses are meant to walk out the door. And so are people. Clara reached for his hand, and this time, no one tried to stop them. This story isn't about power, it's about breaking it. It's about ordinary people choosing courage over comfort, truth over fear. Because sometimes, the most dangerous words aren't shouted, they're whispered behind closed doors. And sometimes, all it takes to change everything is one person who refuses to look away.